over, though! It's still over, though! You garbage! You are garbage! You are garbage!
You're trash, bro.
The new Venom film has been getting critically panned by press after some initial screenings. It's not like it's the first time we've seen a prestigious comic book icon bastardized on the silver screen with a subpar offering. I don't think it's going to be the last time either if Sony chooses not to take this as a learning experience. If you've been living under a rock for the past few days, then you would know there's some pretty rave responses about the particular quality this movie exudes. I don't think that the tonal shift can be any more horrendous when your movie was cited to be an amalgamation of The Mask and Halle Berry's Catwoman, aka the movie that made cats burping into women's mouths a cultural phenomenon. Jesus Christ. The only way to paint a comprehensive picture is to have a general idea in mind, so let's read off some quotes from official reviewers about Venom to gain some insight on the shortcomings of the movie. Significant chunks of Venom don't work at all. There is some serious charm to the Eddie-Venom relationship. Not sure if I had the intended reaction to some scenes, but fun is fun even when it's totally ridiculous, right? It's too bad they didn't go for the R rating though. It breaks my heart to say Venom doesn't work. While the symbiote looks fantastic, the rest of the movie is a mess. Rough CGI, poor story plotting, and a schizophrenic tone. Trying to launch this world without Spider-Man is too large of a hurdle. Disappointed! In an era where the bar for superhero movies has been raised to significant heights, Venom feels like Elektra, the Ghost Rider movies, or that Thomas Jane Punisher with Travolta as the hammy villain. You recognize pieces, but you can't quite understand why they don't fit together. It's not a complete disaster, at least I was never mad watching it, but it is an excruciatingly surreal experience. The humor, the story beats, everything right down to the Eminem theme song feels like it emerged Kimmy Schmidt style from a sealed off early 2000s bunker. Maybe Venom just wanted to get down with your boy before the Punisher put a 187 in his ass. The problem here seems to stem from the fact that Venom has a largely inconsistent tone as a film, and it's not really challenging to give a simple but complex setup to any Spider-Man character via good writing. Case in point, Eddie Brock always had a chip on his shoulder with perfectionism, being the best of the best, and when that world is crushed, when that world is compromised, it opens up a dark mentality to be explored, to want people dead. Spider-Man and Peter Parker, whether intentionally or inadvertently, they do something to affect Eddie Brock's life. He believes that he's made miserable. After Peter Parker rejected the symbiote, it feeds off of Eddie's hate, which is something that eventually warps his mind. I think that the Venom 2018 comic does a good job at illustrating this bonding process, a process that actually might be a terrible idea in Brock's mind. This dynamic just simply cannot work without a proper and complex relationship supporting it. If anything, it just appears that this movie just phones in some ineffective plot elements from Lethal Protector and calls it a day on top of shoehorning in gags.
We will eat both your arms and then both of your legs, and then we will eat your face right up your head. You will be this armless, legless, faceless thing, won't you? Rolling down the street like a turd in the wind.
What the fuck was that?
Now, it's not uncommon that Venom can be a darkly comical character when the time calls for it. He threatens people, he threatens how he's going to eat their brains and separate their limbs in the comics. This is nothing new, but it makes me wonder, will this attribute to any substance? Will there be substance in this movie? And I think the substance of this movie will be lacking if the tone is supposedly all over the place. You wanted a deep psychological narrative of seeing a character who fights the beast within? Fuck no. Here's a makeout session with a female Venom and Eddie Brock in the woods. Oh my god, this shit right here? This was the randomized comic accuracy that we were killing to see. I just think that this proves that the theory of the Spider-Man fans who are hesitant, the Spider-Man fans who don't want this new Spider-Verse, they are correct. We don't want another Spider-Man film verse that leads to nowhere. Who asked for these solo movies like Morbius, Silver and Black, Kraven the Hunter? We just want good Spider-Man films that focus on the evolution of these characters, that focus on these characters being pitted against the friendly neighborhood webhead. It's clear that Amy Pascal was looking to bank on another cinematic universe. After getting in bed with Kevin Feige and sucking his balls, she just wanted that success. She wanted that money, because we all know that Dark Universe from Universal ended on such a high note, right? And that everyone can make a cinematic universe work, right? No, not really. No. Fuck no. It's pretty obvious that it didn't help Sony's case to axe 40 minutes of this film away for the sake of doing a possible unrated edition of Venom down the line. Guess what? You want to know what the funniest thing about this is? We don't even know if that 40-minute mark of content being cut would have been infinitely superior if it was added, considering the fact that it will never be added to the theatrical release unless they do a re-release of the R-rated version or the unrated version. But Tom Hardy said he liked this footage, so his favorite part of the movie is now erased for more buyer sales. That is bullshit, and I don't like it, and now it's too little too late according to the general reaction. Speaking of some pretty obstreperous reports, it seems like there's another fallout over this movie. Now I know fans could be passionate about video games, comic books, etc. This is similar to how DCEU fanatics act. They get into a bind and they cause mass hysteria over bargain bin trash like Suicide Squad. I think it's wasted energy. Anyway, when a movie isn't rated highly, people freak out, and I think comic book criteria can fall in line with being remarkably good or hilariously bad given the context. Perhaps you can go and judge the movie yourself. Maybe according to your preference, you will like the movie a lot more than the press does at the moment. I think people should be able to be entitled to their own opinion. No one is hampered to not go out and have a fun time. I would never tell someone not to do something because of another man's review of another woman's opinion on a video game franchise, comic book franchise. You can go and have a good time at the cinema whenever you want. You can do whatever you want, but that being said, there is quality control, and my expectations for Venom is very low. Like, I'm trying to see both sides, and I'm trying to see, like, okay, you can see whatever you want, but I'm going to be honest, some motherfuckers on the internet are irrational when it comes to fandoms. You just are. There's no mistaking it, there's no avoiding it, there's no getting around it. I guess some of the things Sony could do in the future is just let Kevin Feige have his fun with those Spider-Man characters. Do something in association with the MCU. Spider-Man in the MCU is making a lot of money. Scrap all these productions of these solo standalone Spider-Man films that aren't going anywhere, and if you do continue down this path of doing your own solo Spider-Verse, then at least make the next entry good. At least make it compelling enough to keep watching. You don't want to go down the same path here, the same path of insanity where doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again with no results, no merit in your value and attempts, and everything just remains worthless. I think you should add in value to these movies, put in interest, put the interest of the fans first before anything else, and you might have something rewarding on your hands for the next outing. This is Renegade Operative signing off. I will see you guys next time. Hopefully you really enjoyed this video. The reviews for Venom is not really looking too hot. Like, I know I made a lot of jokes like, we are Venom, we are toilet trash, we are sewer scum, But still, this is very disappointing to see that this movie is not really living up to the hype, not really living up to the comic book standard of doing something new and innovative and doing something good. I am thoroughly disappointed. Venom had potential, but it seems like wasted potential, and I probably still will go to see the movie. This is not a review, just an early impression on all the reviews that have been coming out so far. As for closing thoughts on Venom itself, it's really hard to start off on a bad movie, so I don't know how later movies will work. I think they said that Tom Hardy is contracted to do some more Venom movies, but things could change. Maybe Hardy could walk, you never know. They also have Carnage in this movie. Not really too much of a spoiler, even though this video has spoilers in it. The spoiler about Carnage was known like well ahead of time, so I assume they could always set Carnage up to be the next big bad or do a Carnage standalone movie, but it has to be a hard R. There's no way. Cletus Cassidy is a murderer. He's a fucking psychopath. There's no way they can do PG-13 for that. That has to be a hard R, and it has to explore those deep psychological levels, the mind being damaged, Cletus Cassidy being totally influenced by the symbiote to kill, maim, and murder, and be pretty much equivalent to the same characterization that he was in the comic books, bar none, being strong, taking out Venom, and ultimately Venom has to team up with something because he can't do it with Spider-Man because Spider-Man's not in this film, or maybe he is, because there is spoilers that said that Tom Holland might be in this movie, but I doubt it. I supremely doubt it. I just don't see it happening. I don't see how they would connect this to the MCU. That would be weird to explain, in my honest opinion. That would be super fucking weird. You know, all these movies that Sony has, we're trying to definitely stay in bed with Kevin Feige, but Kevin Feige just wants like all his characters back so he can just use them and put them in more Spider-Man films. And I saw the screenshots and everything of Homecoming and Far From Home. Not Homecoming, I'm talking about Far From Home. It's two distinct names, so you can't really blame me there. Homecoming, Far From Home, Staying at Home, House Arrest. That could be the next Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man House Arrest. Anyway, I saw screenshots from Spider-Man Far From Home. Noir suit Spider-Man Mysterio is looking kinda lit. I do want Mysterio to have the classic fishbowl head, but that's another story for another day. This is Renegade Operative signing off. Hopefully you guys enjoyed me geeking out and saying weird shit and having fun and just sharing my thoughts on the Venom impressions. What do you guys think? Comment below, let me know. Like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Later.